It's time to get your quick fix with the remix. I'm Remixus, and I hope y'all are having a fantastic day. It's been over a year since I made a video on Ember, and in that video I talked a little bit about what would constitute a scam. Well, my goal for this playlist on this channel has been to bring you Ember updates shortly after they make it onto the live demo. That means my last video was March 2023, and the last actual build was July 22. We've had one other demo environment to test massive NPC populations, but I'm not sure it was working properly for myself. More on that in a bit. But that brings us to our new demo build. This version doesn't really have anything new that we haven't seen before, but is a merger of things that we already have, along with an update for the Unreal Engine. I'm actually glad to see we're moving back to New Copa, because this can help paint a picture of what the vision of the game should be, whereas you don't really get the same impact with a white box demo. That being said, I did notice a few features that are not seen in this build. Things like glider pads, voxel terrain, home bases, Crotus and Catgirl, and other creature, vehicle, and geological assets. While I understand these may not make it into the final game, especially in the condition they're in, I find it very odd that you would use the word all when you haven't included some important items, which would really bring this into fruition. Now, as far as the bugs are concerned, my connection to the server from Korea to the US is rather rough. I find it difficult to tell what is lag and what is a bug. You may notice my character playing a bit wonky, and I noticed a couple years ago that most of my bugs are caused by latency. A perfect example was I had the radial menu that wouldn't work for me at one point. That is now back. But that's all I have for the new content, so I wanted to talk a little bit about our gaming political state. So if you only came for demo information, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later. Alright, so the rest of you still here. The first issue is on scams again, and the second is on Mark's DEI crusade. In light of the recent Asmongold video critiquing Nick Calandra, my thoughts still remain the same on the issue. Nick basically tried to do a smear job while not offering good faith arguments. Ember may or may never come out, but I signed up for pre-alpha builds, so I got what I paid for. If you don't believe me, take a look at my previous videos. Many people, however, won't see it like this because they have the assumption that if you back something before release, you're entitled to the game you hoped you were going to get in the future. I totally understand that. You paid for something, and you think you should get something. I have a question for you though. Lockheed Martin developed one of the most sophisticated fighter aircraft in the world, the YF-22. However, there was another company called Skunkworks who put billions of dollars into designing a competitor, the YF-23, hoping that they would win the contract. EA spent money developing a Command & Conquer Generals sequel called Generals 2 that never saw release. Dyson developed an electric car for over 4 years before canceling the project. The Neuschwanstein Castle was never completed before King Ludwig died, so he never got to experience any of the massive wealth he put into the castle. This is 4 different projects. I bring these up to say that projects fail or get canceled all the time, and we wouldn't label these as a scam. Project creep, lack of funding, lack of community interest, mismanagement of funds, and failure to deliver do not mean that a scam has taken place. If the game were to release today in its current state, I would be right on the same page as you, because the project would have delivered a product that was not agreed upon. I also find it difficult to defend the use of the word skins when we're talking about rendered images or sometimes assets that have no functionality and cannot be used as they are, yet new ones are being released every month. At least they were for several years. These issues may be an indication of a scam taking place, but the glaring proof which contradicts is the purchase agreement located at the bottom of the page when you log in, as well as the FAQs listed on the forums. The information is even right in front of you when you click the campaign to sign up for the subscription. I was under no illusion when I bought this game that it might not come out. Unfortunately for Mark, this also means that if everyone thinks it's a scam, then you have to spend time proving that it's not. So this part is directly for you grums. Get off Twitter. Stop with this anti-woke crusade and just focus on the game. If you want to prove everyone is wrong, then be quiet, hunker down, and make what you keep telling the world you're going to make. You've posted far more on Twitter in the past 24 hours than you have all of April on your 0 Days channel in Discord. There's 24 days into April right now. You have an opportunity to prove everyone wrong about you, and Firefall. But when the project is getting close to 10 years old, you're just further validating what people say and believe about you, regardless of if it's true or not. And remind me, you're making a game with waifus and husbandus. Aren't you catering to both the straight and the LGBT+ community by offering a variety in character models? That sounds pretty woke for you. Never Knows Best did a great job pointing out the Gamergate history and its latest state. It's an amazing, albeit long video, like all of his are. But one point he made is that many games die and do great regardless of the culture war. Also, most of the streamers hating on DEI are taking things out of context while forgetting what part of the population is actually making games. These people tend to be middle-class, college-educated individuals who tend to lean towards progressivism. In some instances, we've had some amazing games and others terrible. DEI is basically a non-issue when you have a mobile transaction games that force you to play longer, or sports games that have you buy power cards so you have better stats. Pre-orders, microtransactions, corporate stock buybacks, these are what's actually killing games. Battlefield 2042 didn't die because it went woke. It died because it was rushed, buggy, lacked basic features, and was an overall downgrade of the previous titles. Meanwhile, spreading managed democracy is the highlight of the gaming world currently, and it's a critique on imperialism, patriotism, and nationalism in the same way Starship Troopers was. People simply want a good game with interesting characters. And did we forget about Baldur's Gate and the relationships with the Druid? Unfortunately, in our world, everything has to be political. And it doesn't matter if it actually is or not, the perception that it might be political is enough to get people up in arms. So I totally understand why people will say, oh, gaming sucks and games are just being released with DEI and they're not focusing on good characters. Well, maybe they're not focusing on making good games because they're focused on profit motives instead of telling good stories. It's amazing how much of this video has been on information that's not actually part of the game. I want to make more videos about the game. Get off Twitter and go make more Ember content. Anyways, that about wraps it up. In the meantime, I'll continue to make drone, travel, and snowboarding videos, so if that interests you, come follow along. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep it real and keep it on Remix.